Hey guys, so it's obviously been like forever since I've shot any tutorial video, whatever. My daughter had an appendectomy, and she's 6, so it was a pretty big deal. My cat went missing for a week, and it's just been all sorts of crazy here, getting all that sorted out, the school year, you name it. So I wanted to come to you today with kind of a very common subject video on contouring, but I wanted to do it in a very um, easy and skin-like, natural-looking way. I already did my makeup today. I've got Too Faced nude whatever on my lips, and I used the MAC times 9 purple palette on my eye, minus my highlight being the highlighter from my Too Faced Brow Envy kit. Just because I tend to like a matte highlight. But anyhow, I just wanted to get started, and this is actually a drugstore. The contour product is at least a drugstore product. And so today I'm going to do something really cheap, really easy. It's the NYX Mineral Stick Foundation, which is a total, if you ask me, a total dupe for the Bobbi Brown. I'm not going to grab it, but the Bobbi Brown Stick Foundation, which I have, I love, it's great, awesome. Full coverage, super pigmented, and I really feel like this product is kind of the same, maybe not the same exact formula, but almost an exact dupe. So I'm just going to get started. Everybody loves to do the cheekbone, so this is going to be hard without a mirror, so I'm just going to do it right here. So my way, there's tricks where you can use go to the top of your ear, go down, and just press and feel your cheekbone. But what I do, I've got such prominent cheekbones, I don't like to overdo it for that reason, but I'm able to just look down and look at the natural contour shadow of my face, and I go slightly just on top of it. Do the same for the other side. And then bring it, I don't bring it down to my lips because I feel like that makes me look a little sickly. And then everybody loves to do the temples, but with my face shape, what I'm finding that I like more is just an all-over sweep right here. And I have a goosebump at the moment from hitting a door. So it kind of helps in that way. And I also take it right under, that's actually a little too high up. And I've prepped my skin, heavily moisturized, cleansed, exfoliated. I used the MAC, where did I set it? I used the MAC, their new waterproof Pro Formula foundation, which I really love. It's really hydrating, nourishing to the skin. I usually let this sit on a second and then take a buffing brush. This is one. Here's the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. This would also be a really good brush. I occasionally use this brush, which I'm not crazy about. I bought it in a Sonia Kashuk set. It's called the Blend brush, and it's a really domey, it is an excellent brush, but it sheds all the time on me, and the last thing I want to have is like a green hair in my chin. So then you take your brush and you just take it and go in circular motions. If you have extra dry skin, go in the downward motions. If you have extra dry skin and you go in circular motions, you're going to get exfoliation. But I don't have any powder on whatsoever. I've just got my foundation on. I've noticed if I use a powder foundation, and that's not going to be the finished product, by the way, but if I use a powder foundation or powder my foundation, it makes it such a mess. If I'm using a cream contour, which lately I'm actually really starting to enjoy more, because when I see people and trends of, contouring so big right now, and when I see people doing it, it's so easy to overdo. And I feel like if you're using a product that's designed to replicate your skin, it's just going to look like your skin. It's not going to be super unnatural, if that makes sense. So I just went and I have the palette, that Laura Mercier palette, but I just went and bought the deepest shade, which is MSF, my initials, 09. It's pretty dark and it is a little bit warm. I mean, I will say that it is a little bit warm, but at the same time, I don't mind that so much. And I go over the top, you know, obviously you don't want something orange, but I'm always going over the top with another bronzing product. And I mean, I'll set my stuff at the end, but I'm still going over the top just ever so gently with a bronzing product. This is just not blended. And I'm actually going to use that brush that I was just saying sheds all the time, because honestly, I mean, it sheds, but you can see here, I mean, it just makes the blending process so much easier. But yeah, certainly a brush like this, the Expert Face brush, this is my foundation brush from the Wayne Goss, the collection set. I think you can buy it individually. You could use a stippling brush, but they're so thick and dense that might make that a little bit of a challenge. You could use, I hate this brush, but you could use a sculpting brush like this to make the downward motion a little bit easier, but I'm not particularly fond of that style or that cut of brush. Let's come in with the highlighting aspect. This is, I think, the easiest part. I'm just going to take this and kind of dot under my eye and go up. And maybe bring it a little bit down into kind of a triangular shape. Use a color that's a little bit lighter than your skin for this. And then we're just going to go down the bridge of the nose and up into the forehead area, just a little smidge. Some people do their chin. I'm not quite as fond with that. So the under eye area, I'm just going to use my finger. I really like when I'm doing my under eye concealing, anything under my eye, I really like to use my finger because it really, the heat of my finger just seems to work the best and blend it in the best. And then on the edges, I'll kind of go around and do it a little differently of it. And don't get too close to your eye socket because that'll really shrink your eye. And then I'm just going to take that same blending brush and I'm just going to go like this. And then I'm going to go in the areas around what I just did. Because the last thing you want is lines. You don't want any lines. You want this to just be a very natural, very skin-like, subtle. I mean, at this point, I mean, I don't really think it's obvious that I've sculpted or done anything like that. And then, so that's kind of like my base highlight. And then I'm going to come in just with my complexion brush from e.l.f. I've had it for years. There's actually still laser on here. And I'm going to take my Chocolate Soleil matte bronzer and just kind of accentuate what I just did there in a very loose way and work under the chin and bring that down. And same for the other side. Again, if you have dry skin, don't do the circular motions. But even if you do, I mean, I typically, unless it's a very warranted thing, I stay away from primers. I'll use them when I need them, but that's pretty much about it. And then I'm going to take my Wayne Goss, I think it's my number 2 brush, and just a blush. I'm going to use my NARS Torrid, definitely one of my favorites, and work that into the equation. Kind of honestly going on top of the contour, just so it looks, I mean, you don't want to have it so you've got like a blush highlight. You don't want to have any like differences of what, I mean, you want everything to be one cohesive look. And, you know, again, very, very skin-like. And when I put my blush on, I start, you know, right out here. And I'll kind of splay it into that area so it doesn't have any, you know, harsh edges. But, I mean, for the most part, I'm trying to widen and broaden my face and give my face, you know, kind of a lift. So I'll work up in that way. a really pigmented blush, but sometimes I have a hard time picking it up on my brush. Okay, that's that. And then the last thing, there's several ways you can use. You can use a cream, you can use whatever, but there's several ways you can do use a luminizer. Several different formats. I love the Becca liquid ones, but I'm just going to use my Mary Luminizer today. And I've been a really big fan of the halo effect, which is basically going all along your cheekbones and working up. And the same on the other side. Sorry, I just can't like look into the camera and do it. I need to. And then I kind of go up here. And then I'll go right on the Cupid's bow. And then right over that area that we previously highlighted. So that's pretty much the finished product. And you really can't see any harshness there.